Hey guys, welcome to another video from the Warrior Collective, and today's video is going to be about the 5 things that you should carry with you when you leave the house. These 5 things that we're going to go over are pretty basic items. They're not, your full, battle-ready rigs or all your camping gear, things like that. They're just 5 basic things to take with you that are good to have within close proximity to your person. Now, these 5 things don't actually have to be on your person at all times. They just need to be within range of you. So think of it that if you're going to be traveling to the office, or you're going on a park outing with your kids or something like that. If you are going to be in the car, you can keep, or near the car, keep them with you, keep them in the car. If you're going to be a distance away from the car, have another bag that you can transport these things into that bag and take them on your way. Now, these aren't a set in stone, law that these are things you should always have on you, but they're good things to take with you. Another thing that these 5 things are really about is getting in the mindset of being prepared, being ready, thinking your day through. If I'm going to be going from here to there, what things should I have with me in the event something happens? And we don't need to get into full-blown paranoia where you have your, full, emergency situation stuff all packed up in your truck and ready to go. Some people do that, and that's perfectly fine too, but this is more just get you in the mindset of thinking things, through and planning accordingly for what may or may not rise. So let's go ahead and jump into the video, into the 5 things that you should really carry with you each and every day. All right, so the first thing that's going to be in our 5 things that you should take with you is going to be kind of an obvious one, and really most people nowadays that I know of anyway do this even without being in the same mindset. But that's going to be carrying water with you when you leave the house. And I don't mean, an empty water bottle. I mean, like, actually water, like hydration. And water is obviously very important because we need it to stay hydrated. We need it to not die. So having water with you is obviously a good thing to have. And it's not just for that. It can also be used for cooking. Could be used for cleaning out a wound. If you cut yourself open, washing it off with some water. There's plenty of obviously good uses for water other than just hydration. Now, a couple of different ways you can do this. You can just take plastic water bottles. You can take these 2-walled insulated water bottles, which are fantastic because they do keep your water cold. And they can also keep it hot if you need that as well. The downside to carrying one of these is that if you carry a single non-insulated water bottle, that water bottle can also be utilized as a heating source. Those can be put over a direct flame with the lid off, and you can heat that water up to either clean water that you got from somewhere to make sure it's sterile, or you can use it for water to cook. So 2-in-1 use there. Kind of do what you will with that. I will say, however, from what I understand, you are not supposed to put these over an open fire, these 2-walled insulated ones, because they apparently will explode. Have not tested that theory out, and I'm very intrigued to find out how that actually works and what that does, and maybe we'll do that in a video because it sounds like fun. But if you still want to carry around one of these insulated water bottles, you can also pick up one of those camping stainless steel cups. Those can be put over a fire and used to heat water up as well. So if you can fit one of those in your bag, it's perfect. Take that with you, and you should be good to go. So number 2 on our list is going to be just some basic items. These kind of can be comprised into a kit, so you can get like a small bag or something like that, a small little pouch that you can utilize to carry these items. And these are going to be basic survival supplies, things like a knife, or some type of fire, so either a ferro rod or a lighter, and maybe some type of flame extender for wet situations that you can utilize. Things like pens, compass, a map of your area, things like that. And like I said, these can all be compromised into like a single little pouch that you can kind of keep tucked away in your vehicle or in a daily takeout bag that you take with you. I personally have a bag that I take every day that has some of these items in it that I just throw in my truck, and I'm good to go for the day as far as that goes. And this kit can kind of expand over time. You can add items as you need for that day or for a trip or for whatever you're doing for that situation. So you can add those basic survival supplies, just things, because you never know what's going to happen. It's always good to have those things with you. So number 3 on our list is going to be another obvious one that most people tend to have some form of with them, which that's going to be medical supplies. And this doesn't need to be anything crazy. And you can even pick up, on Amazon or any other websites, you can pick up like pre-built IFAK kits that have some Band-Aids and like tourniquets and some Israeli bandages and gauze and things like that. It doesn't need to be it doesn't really need to be a full trauma kit. It can just be a boo-boo kit, maybe with a tourniquet. Tourniquet is one of those things you really should have with you, just because they're handy to have. Hopefully you never have to use them, but they're good to have with you. But this kit can just have some basic bandages and some medical tape, things like that, just in case you have cuts and bruises and, you know, whatever, so you don't have to deal with infection and can help in any situation. Now, with anything you have, with any kit you have, and with anything else that you take with you, any tools, you need to learn how to utilize them. So if you have stuff with you that's in your kit that you don't understand or don't know how to utilize, it is completely worthless to you. So if you're going to carry things like tourniquets or other type of special medical implements or supplies, make sure you know how to use them properly, because if it does come down to a life or death situation, that could mean obviously life or death. So with any of these things that we're talking about as well, make sure you train with them, make sure you understand how they work, and make sure you know how to apply them. All right, so number 4 is going to be, and I wouldn't say it's an obvious one, but for some people it may be. There's several of us that, you know, may have to deal with certain dietary needs, or for those of you that have to balance your blood sugar and things like that. Snacks are something important to carry with you as well. So carry a handful of snacks with you, and make sure that you have enough snacks for your whole vehicle. So for me, if my family leaves, I have 3 kids. We have some extra peanuts and, you know, gummy snacks and things like that to kind of tide everyone over in the vehicle. If, you know, for instance, we get stuck somewhere or in a traffic jam or car breaks down, again, whatever the situation may be, snacks are something good to have. Obviously, if, you know, you can last longer without food than you can without water, but it's still good to have things like that to help keep your energy going and keep you moving until you can get to where you need to. So just make sure you grab a handful of snacks, throw them in a small bag, and just be on your way, and you should be good. So number 5 on our list is going to be a mixture of things, and it kind of depends on your scenario. However, having maybe one of each is not the worst thing to have with you, and that's going to be either blankets, coats, or a tarp. All 3 of them have great uses, and they all have different uses depending on different scenarios and situations. So for blankets, we'll kind of talk about that briefly. Blankets are obviously good to have if you live in a colder environment, or if you deal with a lot of snow, or it's just wintertime in general. We've all seen hundreds of stories where people get stuck in a snowstorm on the highway because of, you know, a snow squall came through or a whiteout came through, and people got stuck and they're waiting for hours until they get plowed out. Blanket comes in handy in that situation to keep you warm while you're in your car waiting for the plow truck to get there. So aside from that, blankets can also be really good for ground cover if you're out, if you need to actually seek shelter outside of your vehicle, or if you're out in the woods and something happens, you get stuck somewhere, you can use that blanket to have a ground cover for yourself. And this one kind of segues into tarps as well, that tarps have like thousands and thousands of uses. I believe that there's actually books out there that actually go over those thousands of uses. I'm not going to do that here in this video, but tarps can be used for shelter. Obviously, you can use that to string it up with some trees and some twine. Having twine with you is also a good thing, so we can kind of roll that one into this. But you can use that tarp as a shelter. You can also use the tarp as a ground cover as well, to lay on, so you're not laying strictly on the dirt. And another thing that I've actually used a tarp for in the past was trying to get my car jumped because my battery died and it was downpouring rain. We were able to use a tarp to cover up the 2 vehicle hoods, so that way we didn't get tons of water into our engine bays and didn't get the living daylights electrocuted out of us. So tarps are a fantastic one to keep in your vehicle, as well as blankets. And then coats, well, coats kind of go with blankets. Have some type of warm backup with you if it's cold, especially if it's cold. During the summer, obviously, you do not need a coat. That's probably the last thing you need at that point in time. That's where the water comes in. So that's going to do it for blankets, coats, and tarps. Again, you're going to have to adjust these to meet your needs and for your situation and your scenario. So think things through, plan accordingly for that. So with these 5 things that we just went over, I'm going to give you a bonus one here. So this will be number 6, and this is going to be for all of the things above. And that is going to be having a backpack with you or some type of bag with you in your vehicle or when you leave the house. So if you leave the house and you're going to be going somewhere, have a bag with you, and you can actually stick all of these things in that bag. So if you're going to be some distance away from your vehicle, just put all that stuff in your bag, or better yet, just have that bag always packed and ready to go in your vehicle, or just get in the habit of taking it with you as you leave the house and go somewhere. It's simple to just stick all that stuff in there and have it with you at the standby and ready when needed. So that's going to do it for today's video for the 5 things that you should take with you when you leave the house. I hope this really gets your brain thinking about the planning and preparing as you go about your day, and that you can expand that from there into everything, every facet of your life, of things that you might need, things that you might need to prepare for or plan for, or things that you might need to train, or things you may need to learn if you don't know how to make a fire, or you don't know how to set up shelter. Start learning. There's tons of great resources and books out there, and we'll also be giving you a lot of those great resources here as we get the videos up to the site. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more from the Warrior Collective, and until next time, prepare, plan, train, and find your inner warrior. We'll see you next time.